Am I the a-hole for telling my ex's daughter that I am not her aunt or her other mom? I, 34 female, was with Liam, 35 male, for over a decade. Had 2 children with him, and we broke up when I learned he was cheating on me with Ella, 30 female. Ella was pregnant when I learned about their affair, and the 2 of them were very smug about the fact they were going to start a family with my kids, who were young enough at the time to potentially see Ella as a second mom in their lives. Ella was downright nasty, saying she could provide them so much better because her parents were wealthy and she'd be #1 mom in no time. We ended up getting shared custody of our children, and the schedule was week on/week off. Ex and I had to meet at a neutral location for our custody order to reduce conflict and any problems with the exchange of our children. The judge also ruled that Ella could not be present for exchanges given her alienating language toward me. That was not totally hidden from mine and Liam's children. My ex and Ella got a big shock when her family did not support them, following the realization that she helped him cheat and had gotten pregnant with someone who had a family. So they ended up struggling. Well, I was doing better than ever after making a career shift I'd wanted to do for a bit before that. They, of course, realized over time. This was, I think, just after they had their daughter and around the time they got married. Then the name I had heard from their daughter was suddenly changed to my name, and they started being super sycophantic with me and saying how my kids deserved one family unit and how their daughter was named after me, was my kid's little sister, how she needed someone to help support her and give her the life her siblings have, etc. I told them they were crazy and I was not their daughter's anything. They had 2 more girls since then, and apparently they are telling those girls that I'm their aunt and or their other mom, hence the older of the 3 being named after me. The oldest is always trying to seek me out. My ex brings her during exchanges of our kids and she rushes out of the car with my kids. My kids have told me how uncomfortable it makes them because they aren't allowed to correct it. I told my ex he needs to say something and said the same thing to Ella, but they didn't. A few days ago, their oldest sought me out again and asked if she could stay when my kids stay with me and how she's so glad I'm her aunt and her other mom. I told her I wasn't. I said so kindly, but I was also firm that I was not her aunt or her mom in any way. She got upset and ran back to her parents, and then I got dumped on by Ella for breaking her daughter's heart. She said they had only tried to be nice and make the best of the family situation for the kids, and I was the a-hole. I feel kind of bad because the little girl was devastated. At the same time, I don't have any interest in being part of those 3 girls' lives in any kind of way, except for when I see them for my kids. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. She's calling you the a-hole after you broke her daughter's heart, but she did the same for helping a married man with 2 kids cheat with her. Karma did bite them in the butt. Definitely not the a-hole. Not really a-hole comparable, as OP is just kindly telling the truth now after Ella has been making up lies. Ella's the a-hole to her own girls, just to try to weasel some money out of OP, never mind all the stuff before. I feel really bad for the kids stuck in this demented situation. How awful to be lied to by your own parents as a way of manipulating others. Right? Like they want to basically force OP into caring for their daughters financially. At least it seems like money is what they are trying to gain based on what OP has written. It's messed up in such a major way. It's not OP who will get hurt by their actions. It's their own daughters who will be hurt. And that isn't on anyone but them. It's not on OP, it's not on the kids, it's on the ex and his wife. Nothing quite like people who think the only way to live is by guilting and shaming those around them in order to manipulate situations/people to get what they want. I wonder how long until the ex cheats on his current wife, and she will get to first-hand experience what they did to OP. I hope that doesn't happen, but it's not like someone who cheated and rubbed it in their ex's face is going to just never pull that crap again. It seems pretty likely he will cheat again. Then when that happens, his current wife will probably want to be all buddy-buddy with OP for support. Wow, not the a-hole. She's playing the long game of manipulation and hoping you'll just get worn out and go along with it. I feel sorry for the kid, who's obviously been told a pack of lies. That must hurt a lot, but that's really got nothing to do with you. Your ex should be stepping up here too. He started this crazy situation, and it's his daughter. Next story. Am I the a-hole for sending my daughter home in cheap clothes? I, 35 male, have a daughter Kiki, 7 female, with my ex-girlfriend Yvonne, 34 female, and have 50-50 shared custody. Every time Yvonne sends Kiki back home to me, she is in dingy old clothes. They are either too small and cut so she can fit them, stained, have holes, too big, not weather appropriate, long sleeves in the summer, etc. And her shoes are always filthy. I know Yvonne makes less money than me, which is why we have an agreed upon amount of money I send her monthly for Kiki's expenses. My wife, Sarah, 30 female, also came up with the idea that I just cover Kiki's childcare/education expenses, since it won't break the bank for us, and that way Yvonne can just use all the money I sent her for Kiki. We didn't want to send Kiki home in the clothes her mom sent her in, so we started sending her home in clothes we purchased, and she would always send her home with the outfit ruined. Sarah's mom bought Kiki some cute new shoes, and Kiki begged to wear them to her mom's. She was sent home in another ragged outfit, with the shoes completely ruined and muddy. Yvonne said they went to the park in them. Sarah was angry, so she went and bought a bunch of clothes from stores like Rainbow, H&M, Walmart, etc., and we sent those over there. So if they're ruined, it will not matter, and she can keep all her nice clothes here. Yvonne called us petty and said keeping tabs on clothes and shopping at cheap stores to send to mommy's house is offensive to Kiki and creating a toxic environment. I just don't want my daughter walking around looking a mess when she doesn't have to. It's embarrassing, and I know it doesn't make Kiki feel good. I feel like keeping all her quality stuff and favorite outfits here preserves them, so she has it. She doesn't know the difference between the clothes' quality and just sees the designs. But guys, am I really being selfish and petty? Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Yvonne, I think, purposely sees to it that the new clothes you send Kiki in are ruined. Now she's mad because you are sending Kiki to her in clothes where it won't matter if they are ruined or not. She's the a-hole. This is why Sarah was so angry about the shoes. She felt it was intentional, but honestly, I don't think that's far-fetched. Yvonne is being patty boots. She is big mad and wants to force you to keep spending money on clothes. She's legitimately trying to punish you for moving on and having a life without her. I have 3 kids, 2 boys and 1 girl. Even when my boys were small and we went to the park or played in the rain, their clothes were still salvageable after a good wash. Here's what's happening. Kiki, Mommy, do you like my new outfit? Me and Daddy and Sarah went shopping and Sarah picked it. Yvonne, yes, sweetie, it's super cute. Do you want to go to the cemetery and dig graves with me? You can roll around in the dirt. We can find some water and make some mud, and you can dance in the mud. When we are done with that, let's go play CSI and cover ourselves in red paint to make a crime scene. This is why Kiki is coming home filthy. Keep her nice clothes at your house and send her to Yvonne's house in couture from Target. Start keeping a photographic record of your kid when she arrives. If you're giving money for her needs, there's no reason for her to be ragged and dirty all the time. There may be misuse of the money you send, as well as neglect involved. Keep your daughter safe, man. Thank you. I have been keeping pictures and we brought this up before in court. I'm hoping we don't have to go back, but gotta do what you gotta do. Does your ex have proper laundry facilities available to her? Is it possible that she does not have access to laundry in home or the money to go to a laundromat? She has a laundromat in her building, I believe. My daughter has mentioned putting quarters in the machine at mommy's house, but if that was the case, then I feel like she would have brought that up in one of our many discussions about this. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling a parent that if they want their kid included in everything, they need to be taught better manners? I have an 8-year-old son and he has a group of friends he's known since his preschool days. There's 4 of them total. This post is about one of the boys, EJ. EJ has always been a sweet enough kid, but something that always bothered us but got worse is he would want more food than he could handle, but also wouldn't take well being asked to wait and see how he does with a smaller portion first. Examples. I took my son and his friends to see a movie and it was a little later in the day, so we went to McDonald's after, which isn't uncommon. And while there, he wanted burger, fries, nuggets, ice cream, and another dessert. I asked him to pick the 2 food stuff he wanted most, and we would get him more if he was still hungry, and desserts would come after regardless. He was like, no way. I always eat more than that. I didn't want to come down on a kid who wasn't mine, so I was like, okay. He ate less than half the food overall. Another time my husband was home with the kids, he ordered food to our house. EJ wanted a medium pizza and a chicken bite box, which is a lot of food. But my husband kinda shrugged and bought it for him. One of the other kids asked if he could eat some since EJ wasn't eating much, and EJ said no. And by the time he left, it was gone so cold and again there was about half of it just left there, with the bites taken out of some stuff and left there. Last example is the time I had EJ after school one Friday, because his parents needed to go someplace. We went grocery shopping and I had mentioned we had food at home. EJ begged and pleaded for burgers. And against my better judgment, I did take him, and this time I was firmer with not ordering too much. And I had raised this issue with his parents before. He got so mad because he couldn't order the 3 deluxe burgers and fries. Like he was saying yes, telling me he was allowed to eat like that. I brought up him not being able to finish, and he said he can. He sulked the whole time, and then his parents were mad that I didn't feed their kid enough. So, I no longer allow him to come if the thing is going to end in us getting food, because it's money we are throwing away. The other parents in the friend group have had the exact same problem. EJ's parents realized EJ was included less and brought it up to me. I explained the issue. They said I was being an a-hole to a kid. I told them if they want their kid included in everything, then they need to teach him manners around spending other people's money. Or they could send money with him. And if they want to waste it, that's fine by me. But I pointed out that it's expensive to throw away huge amounts of food. It's not something they were never made aware of, but I know it's probably as hard on EJ if he knows about it, even if he is included to a degree still. I don't know. This has just brought more bad blood, and I don't feel the best about it. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole, and you're absolutely right. His parents should be sending him with money for these outings. Never in my life as a child was I sent with someone else's parent and not sent with money to pay for food or activities. And if the other parent had offered to pay for me, I was certain to only order what I knew I could eat. And I definitely had manners because my parents did not play that game. Bottom line, if they want their child included, they should teach him how to act and order accordingly. We take my nephew/nieces out sometimes, and I wish there was a menu that didn't list prices every time. They're so polite that they look at the cheapest options versus what they'd really like to eat. I'm wise to that now and convince them to enjoy the treat. I'm lucky. It sounds like EJ might have an issue like food insecurity at home. Over-ordering food and hoarding, the refusal to share, can be signs of something like that. I would try to be more understanding of him. Maybe order in advance or make mobile orders so that you are just picking up food for the group of kiddos and reassure EJ that if he is still hungry, he can have more. He does not like that at all. We get sulking at a lot if he's allowed to eat like whatever at home. Reassuring him does not make it any better. Now for the last story, am I the a-hole for not moving my family to help my sister-in-law and parents? Plus update. I, 37 male Canadian, a few months back I lost my twin brother to a drunk driver. He was the older twin, and despite the fact we looked the same, we were very different. He could do no wrong in our parents' eyes even when he was drinking/using substances and stealing. I, however, could do nothing correctly and was even blamed for everything bad he did. He stole money from a church, and it was my fault because I didn't support him enough type deal. I honestly had a very long post typed out that went into more details, but I'm just going to go with the TLDR version. Because of my parents always placing the blame on me for what my brother did, I joined the army and moved away at 19. I was 31 before anyone in my family ever returned any of my Facebook messages or text messages. I didn't send many, but I did make the first step, normally before I deployed. We finally put our past behind us and reconnected. I met his wife and 4 kids. They're awesome. We talked about getting our parents to move in with me as at the time I was single and had a room for them and could easily support them financially. My dad lost his job, their health was declining and our old family house was falling apart. They didn't want to move and came up with BS reason not to all the time. I am now married with 2 kids and have a nice house in Manitoba with a fair amount of land. With my brother's passing, his wife has no family to look to for support, and my parents only have me left. I have offered to cover the expenses and move them all out to Manitoba. My parents can stay in my camper. It's a very nice camper, 44 feet, better than most apartments. My sister-in-law and the kids can stay in our basement that is fully furnished and has the space till they can get their own place. She's a nurse like my wife, and my wife can get her some work. But nope, they want me to sell everything and move out to them. They live in the Ottawa area. My sister-in-law has limited space with just them in their house, and my old family home doesn't even currently have a working furnace and looks like a crack house. They want me to use the money from selling my house to fix up the old family house, and everyone will move into that. I told my parents and sister-in-law I will not be selling my house and everything else to move to Ottawa area. The cost of living is close to 4 times higher there than where I am. I have the means to support everyone where I am, till everyone is settled into the new area. I do not have the same means to do so there. It's been a week now and no one returning any means of communication with me. Wow, that's some choosing beggar stuff here. Definitely not the a-hole for refusing to sell your home to move to a new province with a significantly higher cost of living. You're the a-hole to yourself, though, for continuing to allow your toxic family to take advantage of you like this. I totally get it, though. Family and all, and a desire for them to care about you the way you should be. But don't set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. Precisely. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Your parents have been awful to you from the start. Apparently, your sister-in-law jumped on the bandwagon. I know it hurts, but you have to accept that they don't want the best for you and let them go. OP, I'm very sorry. Your parents have shown by word and deed that they do not care about you. This was true before your brother died. It is true now. If your parents move out to Manitoba and live in your property, they would quickly make your life miserable. If you moved to Ontario, the process would be even faster. Your sister-in-law can get a job as a nurse anywhere. There is a massive shortage all across Canada thanks to COVID-19. Echoing the above to say, don't set yourself on fire to keep them warm. Not the a-hole, obviously. Now for the little update. Wanted to take a second and say thank you to everyone. This has helped a lot. There are some really good point of views in here I hadn't considered at the time of writing this. I do want to help them because they are family, but I'm not willing to risk hurting my family for people I would honestly consider extended family. That may sound bad, but my wife and kids have given me more support than my own parents. So wife and kids come first.